Let's unpack the underlying truth of cancel culture.
Mm-hmm.
It's all good and dandy when justice is served, but what happens when you are convicted twice, second by the public? When cancel culture is at play, the trolls will drag you through the most. Not only are we fighting the legal system, but the internet. This is Sandy the Coup. This is Sandy and Coup. This is Sandy and Coup on Pressure Point.
Pressure Point, indeed, where we'll be unpacking cancel culture today. Is it sustainable? Is it the best measure of discipline? All this and more. You need to ponder your thoughts and gather them as we take a music break, and do so while you listen to Levi featuring the Craftsman and Louis on Andizo Vangawi.
Issue, 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 Zaki said you should bet your life. That was one of the best advice. People always have a say what to do. They forget we don't wear the same shoes. I'm taking control. Please don't get involved. Wanna be the greatest of them all. That's one of the best advice. People always have to say what to do. They forget we don't wear the same shoes. I'm taking control.
What are you doing?
Please don't get involved.
Guys, this is unacceptable. Where's you? I'm not a snitch. You're not a snitch. Tell me I'm sitting in my office when you get there.
Be the greatest of them all. The stumble is not to fall. Utanungelelo bamanditini kodwa adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we utanungelelo bamanditini kodwa adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we utanungelelo bamanditini kodwa adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we utanungelelo bamanditini kodwa adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we adisuvanga we adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we adisuvanga we adisuvanga we suku nasemini ngu adisuvanga we
A pressure point is where you at. Unpacking cancel culture today with Sandy and crew on our very first episode.
Yeah. Cancel culture can ruin careers, right?
Mhm.
And in recent years, we have seen a surge of celebrities that have been boycotted, publicly rejected, and socially humiliated.
Mm.
But have you ever stopped and analyzed the impact of cancel culture has not only on that one particular individual, but the whole team that has brought this person to stardom, right?
Mm.
Does the public expect fans to stop listening to certain music or watching certain movies or shows? Let's be real. Some of us still indulge ourselves in those very forbidden foods. Are you saying no to DJ Fresh's old school jam and no to our old-time favorite love songs by R. Kelly? I think we must just try and really unpack this whole thing about cancel culture. Why cancel culture? What is it about? I mean, cool, from your opinion, what is cancel culture?
Sandy, I share the same sentiments as you because I got a very deep conflict within myself, a moral dilemma when having to listen to R. Kelly because I miss his music so much because this guy has such an amazing catalog of music. Amazing. Transcends through genres, but then the stuff that he
but
does.
honestly, at the end of the day, if you want to listen, I mean, in my private space, I mean, even in a call, wherever, if I want to listen to R. Kelly, I mean, truth be told, yes, people have cancelled him. And what if I want to listen to the music show? Trust you me, I am going to listen to it, and no one is going to stop me.
I know, but then let's take a look at what cancel culture does, right?
What is cancel culture?
Cancel culture pertains to us as consumers of whatever content that person is producing, seizing it.
Mhm.
So, for example, R. Kelly has music, right?
Mhm.
Katlego Maboe is on TV.
Mhm.
Black Coffee has music. DJ Fresh has music. Euphonic has music. Harvey Weinstein is on a TV
Yep.
production. That's just
The list is
AKA now.
endless.
Who else?
And yeah,
Like all of these people have
Yes.
content. So what cancel culture seeks to do is that we stop consuming whatever content that they have created in order to punish them for whatever that they did in their personal capacity, in their private lives, basically.
and
Mhm.
I think as well we should be very aware that
Mm.
cancel culture exists online. Basically, you are being cancelled online, but obviously in reality, not so much. But we are living in an era where everything is online, right?
I mean,
And I think we should also look at what measurements are used to actually say, listen, we are canceling DJ Fresh, we are canceling R. Kelly, we don't want to see these people. Who sets the tone? Obviously, it's the trolls, the people on social media, right?
mhm.
But
Look.
are the measurements that are used to cancel this particular person accurate?
Look, you might actually argue that 10% of the entire population of South Africa lives on Twitter, right?
Exactly.
And these are the people that push for cancel culture, right? And the 10% which is online, does that 10% really represent the entire population in our country? No. But then we cannot deny the power that social media has.
Definitely.
Social media is extremely powerful, right? When you cancel the likes of these artists such as Sjava and Harvey Weinstein, aka, and stuff like that, right? It leaves a permanent stigma to their name, right?
And once you're online, whatever information is online about you will forever live, right?
Exactly.
So that means your kids, your grandchildren, your great grandchildren will see it. It will live. It will be there forever.
Yeah.
So I think maybe that's another thing that scares most people. But then I think cancel culture has also brought in a culture of responsibility. That listen, you must be responsible of what you're saying online.
Mhm.
But I think that also speaks to something totally different. But it also gives that whole feel that you need to be responsible on what you say online. But then my question is, and I'm going back to this question is, who sets the tone? What measurements are used to say we are canceling this particular person?
So-
Obviously, it's the trolls, but what measurements are used?
Basically, all these people that I've mentioned, what they have in common is assault women, whether it's sexually,
Yes.
physically. So the common denominator here is assault, right? And they violated a woman. And in return and in retaliation, fans now cancel consuming their content, right? What this does, for example, if you are to cancel an artist's an artist's product, right? What it do is that it cuts out the income stream
income
from
stream,
them, right?
yes.
It disempowers them. Our justice system is quite funny. You are most likely to be convicted or to go in jail as a poor person rather than a rich person or rather than a wealthy person. Why? Because you have access from money, right? So what that does essentially is that should you want to buy a character witness, you may do so. So
Because
what
it's got
essentially
money.
does, yes, what
But-
essentially does is that it gives you options, right? And now when we cancel consuming your content, right, we are trying to take away that option from you. We are trying to take away that power from you so that you can be convicted, quote unquote, fairly. So to
But
speak.
then because what I see that sometimes the legal system will say, okay, fine, whatever, you're not guilty, but then the cancel culture is still there and they're still tearing you down and they're still dragging you through the most, even though you have not been found guilty. For example, let's look at Euphonic and DJ Fresh.
Mhm.
I stand to be corrected, but I don't think they were found guilty in court.
Yes,
But-
their case was thrown out. Here's the thing about it, right?
But
Mhm.
before you jump in, but still, they were let go of at work, and obviously now they have this stigma hanging over them, saying, "Listen, we don't want you because you are, you assaulted a woman or you raped a woman, and therefore, and now they have this thing hanging over their heads." But the legal system is saying we're throwing this out, we're not entertaining this, but the social media is saying otherwise. And then I think we also need to, okay, you wanted to expand on that. You wanted to.
Yeah. So basically, what it seeks to do, basically, right? It doesn't just end online because as soon as you have such a tainted reputation, right? People are reluctant to book you because of that
Which
stigma.
is what's happening now
People
with DJ Fresh
lose
and
their
Euphonic.
jobs because of that stigma.
Exactly.
Look at Katlehomabue, look at DJ Fresh, look at DJ Euphonic. Prime Media, for example, is a company that prides itself in the employees who do not have scandalous backgrounds, right? As soon as you have a scandalous background,
Ooh,
then
scandalous.
you're dismissed, right? So I think for me, it works in a sense that, for example, a person who's been raped, right, a victim of such violence lives with that violence and carries it.
But
They
my
are
thing-
entire
But my
lives.
thinking is, what if you are not guilty, but yet you have this stigma hanging over your head? Surely, yes, we know that our legal system is kind of a hoopsie doozy type of a thing. But what happens when the legal system says, okay, fine, you're not guilty, but then people still cancel you regardless, because freedom of speech, that's allowed. People are allowed to cancel you. People are allowed to say, but what happens? Where do we draw the line between cancel culture and the legal system?
I mean, when we look at the legal system and when we look at these people that we've listed, right, their cases have been thrown out and they have not necessarily been found guilty. And which means that there is sort of like a loophole in our justice system.
But their
Just because you're not found guilty
It
doesn't mean that you are not guilty.
But I
And
think-
what I think I am for this measure because now, like I said, whoever's being violated has to live with that for the rest of their lives. And when you just have to go do what you always do, right? And then you live your life as if nothing has happened, whereas this person has been carrying this ghost their entire lives. So this stigma, right, as violent as it is, as harsh as it is, it doesn't really equate to what you make your victim feel. But at least there's some sort of punishment that you're enduring.
Which is not always fair. But let's look at what the psychological implications for the individual, for the team, and the family at large. What implication does this person have? Now they are thrown off social media. They are being cancelled by their fans. The stream of income is
Cut off.
basically cut off. They don't have a sense of income. They don't have a sense of belonging, because what social media does is that it gives you a sense of an extension, that you have this extended family. It gives you that feel that people love you. But as soon as that's taken away from you, I think psychologically, because we are living in an era of social media, psychologically, obviously, you don't have those fans anymore. Your mental health will obviously deteriorate. Anxiety, you are very likely to experience anxiety. Firstly, because your income has been taken away from you. Secondly, because the fans that bring in the money are actually throwing you off. They are putting you through the most, calling you names, saying all these awful things about you. So I think that's another thing that we actually need to be cognizant about. We need to be really, really make sure that are we really doing the right thing? More particularly if we look at the fact of, what if this person is not guilty? Yes, most likely, even if you are thrown out of court, but what if this person is not guilty? And what I find very alarming and very disturbing about cancel culture is that they don't give you a chance to actually apologize. They just cancel you immediately. They don't give you a chance to redeem yourself unless you've got a strong presence in the social media, like Kanye West. I mean, Kanye West is not apologetic about anything, and he's been cancelled over and over again. But yet, because of his fan base, I think he's got about 30 million followers on Twitter, and he's not going anywhere. And he's been cancelled. So, but if you don't have a strong hold of online presence, what does that mean for you psychologically? What does that mean for you?
I think first we should establish the premise of cancel culture, right? Cancel culture seeks to punish people who have violated people in a sexual manner. Now, when you start putting in Kanye West, that's a different thing entirely, because
But he has been cancelled before.
But he has been cancelled, but for different reasons, right? But
are you now saying that is cancel culture is not applicable to him?
What I'm trying to say is that cancel culture is applied mostly to people who have
but not limited to.
Yeah. Okay. But then my point, you made a point saying that people should actually think whether these people are guilty or not before they go out canceling them. But my thing is, why doesn't the perpetrator think before he violates, thinks before he acts on their heinous crimes, of the ramifications and the repercussions that come after that should their victims speak out?
Have we ever had an incident? Because when I think of DJ Fresh and Euphonic, they bluntly they denied, right? They cried foul play, didn't they?
Most of them did foul play, but
okay. And then obviously the charges were thrown off. And then was there evidence?
The evidence is very difficult. You know how a violation such as rape is difficult to trial, because you need a rape kit, you need this, you need that. Yes. It's just really difficult. Hence, I'm saying that just because you're acquitted, or just because your case has been thrown out, it does not mean that you're not guilty.
In the same breath.
It doesn't mean that you're not guilty. Yes.
I hear you. So, but we do have celebrities, even though you feel that Kanye West is not, he has been cancelled before, even though he has not actually violated anybody's rights or so forth. But I want us to talk about celebrities that actually do come back from cancel culture, because we do have a few celebrities, like one that I've mentioned, Kanye West. I mean, he's unstoppable, basically, So I think in the same breath, I think your public relations person would have to do damage control. And it's very unfortunate that only when the damage is done, then only your communication manager or your public relations person needs to come in. And that it's even a harder job for you to do, because the damage is done, whereas it could have been prevented before. But obviously, when it comes to celebrities that do come back, that do make it again, do you think that maybe it's the public relations plays a role, right? To re-image, to realign the image and identity. So do you think people like R. Kelly that have been, I mean, I haven't heard any new release from R. Kelly now that I'm actually thinking of it.
Yeah, he's trialing. So I think public relations have a to some degree an influence towards that, but the stigma stays with you forever, right? But what's more interesting was that Katlego Mabua has been cancelled, right? He lost his job on Espresso Morning Show. He
Yeah.
lost his job on Outsurance, and people are actually
Yes.
rooting for him. People are actually rooting for him to come back and to do his job. So now, which begs the question: are you able to separate the man from his doings?
But you can't separate any because you are your behavior, right? You need to be accountable of what you do.
So Sandy, essentially what I'm saying is that can I listen? Can I have an opinion saying that R. Kelly is a horrible human being? He should go to hell. But I love his music. It's amazing.
Yeah, I think
Could I
you
do
can.
that?
I think you can, very much so. I mean, that's how I feel. I love R. Kelly's music, but his deeds, I don't agree with what he's done. But does that mean I'm going to stop listening to his music? No, I'm not. And I'm not going to lie to myself.
Why not?
Because
Sandy?
because I love his music.
This
And that's the honest truth.
This terrible person that you're so much against is being empowered by you continuously listening to him. Because the more you
Yeah,
listen
he
to
is
him,
being empowered,
the
right?
more
But
royalties he
unfortunately,
gets, the more money he gets to fund his cases.
truth of the matter is, I'm sure there are many of us that are still listening to R. Kelly songs, maybe behind closed doors. Some of us are more opinion about it. I don't necessarily agree with what R. Kelly did, but what I'm saying is that I love his music, and unfortunately, I shall carry on listening to his music. That's all I'm saying. Whether you like it or you don't like it, but that's my opinion, and it is a free country after all. But don't get me wrong. I'm not saying I like what he did. I like his music, yes.
I get you.
Totally.
You know what? Cancel culture, is it sustainable? Is it not sustainable? What's the alternative? Can you separate the man from his deeds? All these questions, we've tried to attempt some of them, and we'd like to extend the conversation to you
I
guys.
think it's a very complex conversation as well, because
Yeah.
there are pros and there are cons. But I mean, we are obviously discussing further. This is Pressure Point with Koo and Sandy, and
Yeah, and stay tuned. And then while you are hang in, you can listen to Uyaxoxa by Mtandazo. Yeah.
barely know me, so don't be. How do you love me when you barely know me? So don't be. How do you love me when you know me? So
Izinto ziyabheda, izinto azilungi, kodwa get your hustle on. Obathi uyanokha iminyanga idlule, kodwa get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Ngiphuma kude to give up. Impilo nzima kodwa I'm just trying to keep up. Yeah, goodbye, follower, be a leader. At the end of the tunnel, beggar, your future is lit up. A life is koro, all we do is bullshit. Bophelo ke tsoko lo shebe ntwe a se movie. Waspana mara dipoko to ha di holy. Wapatala pa dikoloto ha di movie. But then again, whatever, that's the way it goes. I can only make it if I do make it to a modilo. Into high sa hot of fatty, yes, you gotta let it show. How it's interesting nang solo pele, better let it go. When I just tswela pele, don't ever care hore batho ba reng. Trust modimo ke solution e mo mathateng. Stand tall against all o tla ba moja. Then float cause khale o so bona. Izinto ziyabheda, izinto azilungi, kodwa get your hustle on. Obathi uyanokha iminyanga idlule, kodwa get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Izinto ziyabheda, izinto azilungi, kodwa get your hustle on. Obathi uyanokha iminyanga idlule, kodwa get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. The ladder of success, you better climb it up. Gotta secure that check, ngoba impilo iraf. Ungalindi opportunity, just create it. Eba nethemba, that's the only way to make it. Live your life, Fuksokola is a part of it. Go for the prize, doesn't matter just how hard it gets. Ngoba iqiniso mfethu ukuthi ukukalaxis turn nothing into something, hlanganisa noma yini. Ukuphumelela kukithi as individuals. Shinji hustle and turn it into a ritual. Gotta handle your business, keep going for the riches. Fake spani every minute till your time diminish. Keep going, withathe kancane. And for you to be somewhere, you gotta start somewhere. Izinto ziyabheda, izinto azilungi, kodwa get your hustle on. Obathi uyanokha iminyanga idlule, kodwa get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, oh get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, get your hustle on. Izinto ziyabheda, izinto azilungi, kodwa get your hustle on. Obathi uyanokha iminyanga idlule, kodwa get your hustle on. Get your hustle on, 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 get your hustle on.
The better lines have been drawn. But where do we draw the line between practicing freedom of speech and expression, and where do we draw the line with abusing our rights? What are the table manners as we discuss online etiquette?
Well, online etiquette, obviously, when we look at the Bonang saga, when she was offended, she quickly attended to that, but then her legal team took over that. So Twitter has offered us a platform to be fearless and to express our opinions and views with no fear, right?
Mhm.
But how far do we take it? Is it bullying to a certain extent, or is it appropriate? So that's what we look at when we are looking at social media etiquette.
Look, I mean, online platforms have offered us fearless and opinions to be fearless and express our our opinions and our thoughts, right? But then where do we stumble on people's rights? Where do we draw the line actually when we discuss things and then now violate other people's rights?
You know what's the unfortunate or fortunate and unfortunate parts about social media etiquette? You know, when you open your social media page, Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, whatever it may be, there are terms and conditions that you need to abide by, right? You tick and you click and you say, yes, I accept. But do we really actually read what these terms and conditions say? Because those are the very same terms and conditions that are supposed or that are meant to actually guide us, that are meant to protect us from being bullied. But do we read those terms and conditions?
I mean, over and above reading everything, like the terms and conditions, but people have the audacity to slander people because they know that they don't have any ramifications or any
Exactly.
repercussions. And I think it's because also there's no sense of accountability, because you can be whoever you want to be online,
Yep.
right? And when we try tracing it back to who this person is,
It's a faceless person.
it's a faceless
right?
person
That
it's-
doesn't have really
that doesn't
so you
exist.
can't really hold them accountable because that account is basically redundant. It doesn't exist. There's no person attached to this particular page.
Mhm.
And I think as well, social media etiquette actually falls into bullying as well. So, and I just want us to look at the fact that if, okay, say this person is a recognized person and we all know this person, and then this person obviously is rude and drags people, does that speak to the kind of person that they are in reality?
Well, to say that, right, there has been an incident where someone was trolled because of their child online, right? And this person obviously took advantage of the fact that this person is a well known person. This person does not have access to me personally. All that they have access to are my tweets online, and that's all they could see. But however, one day, this perpetrator, this slanderer, met the person that he was slandering, and the person noticed him. And then she asked him to say exactly what he said online to her face. Do you understand? Now there's a sense of accountability, because online,
It's very easy.
it's just a profile.
Yeah, it's
but
very
so-
easy for
but-
you to type and to say whatever you want.
But
on
now that
keyboard.
he's here and she's here, he's unable to say everything that he said online, right? But why do you think that is? Why are people so reluctant? And
But I think-
besides, over and beyond the fact that there's no sense of accountability online, but why would you want to inflict pain deliberately on someone?
And I think it's easier for you to conflict pain and offend a person online because there's no sense of responsibility.
Mhm.
Nobody actually sees you, so you can't really be held accountable. Whereas when face to face, like me and you, I can't say whatever I want. I mean, we both have values, we've got principles, we've got morals. But my concern is, why are we not practicing those very same values,
Online.
those morals, those principles that you are brought up with,
Mhm.
whatever it may be? Why do we immediately become a different person
Mhm.
when we are online? It's because it's a faceless world. It's a faceless world where nobody is accountable for what they're doing. Nobody's accountable for their actions until somebody actually sues you and they track you down and then you start going down.
Speaking about that, right? We've recently had a celebrity who sued
Mhm.
someone for making baseless allegations about her
Mhm.
online.
Yep.
And do you think that kind of measure that she took has sort of like set a precedent on how you can actually combat the slandering? And do you think it has instilled some sense of accountability to some people who are online
I
and their
hope so.
behavior?
I hope it has.
Mhm.
Because, I mean, she set a very good example that if you do 1, 2, 3, there are implications and you will be held responsible for what you're doing.
Mhm.
But again, I think social media is like it's just a different world, right?
Mhm.
People do whatever they want to do. They don't care. So yes, a precedent has been set.
Mm.
But do people actually follow through? Do people care even?
But if you take a look, it's not the only person who's done that. There have
Yeah, a
been
lot of
several other
people
people who have
have
been
done it.
sued for defamation of character,
Yeah.
but we haven't seen any change
Any
whatsoever. What they actually do is sort of like retract their statement and send in an apology. I know of 3 incidents. I've read of a couple of incidents, right? So now one of these people, Ntigimazwai, who has fallen victim to being sued for defamation of character, right? For a character such as her online, right? She borderlines between bullying and telling,
the truth,
the
the
truth
honest truth
boldly.
about the actual.
Yeah. So what do you think? Do you think she's a bully or do you think she's just robust? Because
I think you need to be very cognizant. You need to be aware because we are human beings at the end of the day, and you need to be aware. As an adult, you must be responsible enough to see. Okay, I think I'm crossing the line. I'm crossing the line now. I'm being inappropriate. Bring yourself back. Yes, Ziggy Mazwai has a very strong personality, has a very strong persona as well. And I think maybe in reality as well, I think maybe she is just like that. I think.
she is
Yeah,
actually.
that's what I'm saying. Yeah.
So it's an extension of who she is.
I think it's an extension of who she is, but she should also be aware because we are dealing with people's egos here. We are dealing with different personalities, different characteristics are at play as well. So, and I think as an adult and as a person that can actually think, if you can use social media, you can definitely say, and I can freely say, if you can use social media, then you can actually use your brain and think that now I'm crossing the line.
So have you ever been a victim of bullying or slander? Yeah. Online.
No, not that I can think of. I don't.
Listen, for me,
have you?
So for me, I keep my interactions online very minute because I know some people are very, very vile, and some people are just unprovocably offended by what you do, no matter what you do, whether it's good or bad.
Okay,
so I really try to keep my distance and I try to limit my interaction
as well
online so that I don't inflict that unnecessary stress on myself.
But I also think for me personally, I find it very difficult to have strong relationships with people that are faceless. It's very difficult for me to connect with the person the first time online, for example, on Instagram, unless I've met you before, and then we can actually maybe grow a relationship into social media. But I find it very difficult to have a very strong based relationship on social media because I know you, but is it really you behind that page? I'm very skeptic about that.
Yeah, man. And I understand what you're saying because there's a study here that I've read not so long ago. And then it spoke about people, his identity theft online, bro.
All the time.
So
all the time.
Also, in regards to identity, in regards to the etiquette of online behavior, right? So what are the measures that confront catfishing?
I think
using
catfishing
fake
is
profile.
like the worst.
Am I able to sue you like that celebrity has sued someone else?
Why are you trying to find a boyfriend on social media? Okay,
it's
I know
not
it's
even
done.
that,
okay,
right?
I know it's done, and I'm not saying I'm against it. Oh, okay. I'm not saying I'm against it or anything, because people do it. People do it all the time.
It's not even that. It's not only on the basis of dating. Some people usually commit fraud using your online identity. They embezzle money. Well, they extort money. Embezzling is a bit way too much. They extort money from people from your followers, basically, from people that you know. I know who's this Nicolette Mashile, who is a financial advisor and has a blog here on YouTube about financial literacy and stuff like that. Someone created an entire profile with her profile picture and really impersonated her. So people can't really distinguish who's the real person and who's not. So I'm just saying, is it just enough to announce that, listen, guys, this is not my real account? Or should you actually take steps and be like, I'm actually suing you for that? Is it even identity theft, right? Does it constitute as identity theft in our legal system?
I think as well, I mean, this is a broad conversation on its own. Social media is here to stay. I think we just need to learn how to behave on social media first and foremost. If I can behave like a person that actually has a brain, that can think, that has morals, that has values in person, I can obviously do that on social media. So I think that is what we must just stick to, and that's that.
So I guess what you're trying to say is that social online behavior or online online presence
yes,
is as real as personal presence.
yes,
So however you behave online should be however you behave in real life and vice versa.
yes. And
This is Pressure Point.
And this is Sandy and Koo as we wrap up the etiquette online.
Online etiquette.
Online etiquette, yeah.
I feel like I'm walking on it. Give me a reason why I shouldn't, and I'll show you. I will show you my art. Give you the perfect vision of what's inside.
Well, let me show you a little bit of my own world. I think telepathy got the best of both of our worlds. 'Cause I feel so damn alive, as though life has just been breathed into my body.
You, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. I can't deny myself joy ever since I met you. I can't deny myself the good time since you came around. I can't deny myself joy ever since I met you. I can't deny myself a good time since you came around.
'Cause I feel so damn alive. Oh.
Though life has just been breathed into my body. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found you, and now I feel like I'm walking on air. Found cloud nine. No more worries, skies are blue now. I'm on cloud